Well, it's Friday, so come to another end of the crafting week, and I thought I'd do a bit of what I've been up to behind the scenes, and then part 2 of some of the books I read for Book a Day in May. And this is a sneaky peek for you guys that watch me regularly for my collaboration with Tracy Fox Creative, Creep on June. So it's next Tuesday, the 30th, the last day. Everybody might be either fed up of watching Creep on June or they're sad because it's coming to an end. I'm not sure. So I'll see how it goes. But it's been very difficult to think outside of the box to do something a little bit different because there's been so many fantastic creators doing stuff. But this is what you need to get yourself ready if you're going to join me. Do it as well. Now, you want some thickish. This is double layered hessian or burlap, I think you call it in the States. You want something that's going to be flexible because in actual fact, it's a trifold. I'm covering that up for now. I don't want everybody to see it. So this is how it's going to be, okay? So it opens like that, it opens like that, and then we've got 3 pockets. Okay, now you can do whatever size you like, but for me, this is the sizing that I am doing. So across is 21, more or less 21 across, and down so down is 10 plus the fold is 11, 12, 13 and a half. So 13 and a half. And then I've folded up 3 and a half to make the pockets out of that. And then sewn down the pocket so that these are 3 individual pockets. Okay, I've done this double because I thought it was a bit see-through without. So some nice bendable fabric that you can do, and then this is what happens to it. It folds like that. We're going to do loads of stuff to it, and then it's going to have a bandage style tie to it. So that is Creep on June. So all the details will be down below. David will put Tracy's website so you can go and look at the kits. Once Upon a Creep and Enchanted Tales, I think, the other one. And the calendar so you can see all the lovely peeps that's been collaborating. I watched Corey Darman's yesterday, and that was a really interesting thing that she made that you could adapt to anything. So that's Creep on June. So I've done that, and then I've made myself a journal cover. I got this paper bag from Amazon. Now, initially, I thought I'd have some pockets in the top. I still might, but I think I want to sew round it because I think it looks a bit, I know it's supposed to be raggedy, but I wanted to sew around it. Now, I've used pages from, let me take my glasses off because I can't see. Pages from the back of my children's Britannica, and it's got a colour palette in the back pages of the normal font, and then it's got these black and brown and white images on there, which I really liked. And so I've done a collage of those pages, and then I've put some of my new acetate flowers on there that I got from Shein. And then the same on the inside. Can you see? I really love these. I think they're so cute. And then I've got some normal pages that I've backed onto card. Normal pages of Children's Britannica. I haven't put any matte medium on that yet. You can see the difference in colour. That's got 3 coats of matte medium, Ranger matte medium or collage matte medium. So I need to do the same with those just so they're nice and secure. And then I have done my signatures. So I decided that I would have 5 small signatures in here. Each signature's got 160 GSM card printed cardstock, some Children's Britannica. It's got some vintage accounts, pianola paper, some of David's avocado dyed paper, a bag, and some log paper. So that there are 5 of those. The front pages are all from the lovely Eva at Bohemian Crafting. I wanted it to have a grungy, old, vintage look to it because I thought that went nicely with this cover. So I think that's going to be interesting. I enjoyed doing that. Yes, so I think that's it. Update on 5 minutes crafting for the soul. I've gone to the dogs with it, unfortunately. Since we went to Scotland, and then the whole malarkey with the computer and everything else, crikey, I've not done it. I shall try and get back on track, but I'm being honest, I struggled. I've struggled. Okay, so books. So we're still on the 35 books that I read for the Book a Day in May challenge. And the Persephone that I read, and actually this was the Persephone Goodreads reading challenge for May, The Children Who Lived in a Barn by Eleanor Graham. I absolutely loved this. Absolutely loved this. I gave it 5 stars. It's got some images in. It was just a lovely, wholesome read. Now, it was back in the day that I think it's probably in the 1930s. It's either 30s or 50s. And mother and father go away in quite well-off families. They go away to Burma or somewhere overseas to do some good deeds and leave the kids behind. And they went missing and so they've had to sort of look after themselves. But they got this Miss Durden who she was like from the welfare, and she used to have to come and keep an eye and make sure that they were looking after themselves properly and eating and everything else. And I find it quite, quite lovely that I suppose they were much more grown-up kids. They had to be more self-sufficient, those that had gone through the war years, etc. Like my dad, he used to have to go out selling stuff door to door for my grandma's shop when he was a kid. And, they had to be self-sufficient and learn how to do everything. Not the case nowadays, but anyway, they wouldn't be left alone nowadays, would they, to look after themselves? But this Miss Durden wants to try and find fault with everything, and they're trying the very, very best. There's a local farmer who takes pity on them and lets them live in his barn, and it's sort of all the loveliness, the freedom, and it's just a nice, wholesome read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a well-deserved 5 stars. Then the only picture book that I read was this new one that I'd sent for, The Cafe at the Edge of the Woods, and this is by Mikey Please, Renee and Glumfoot. So I think perhaps Renee and Glumfoot have got a series. Lovely colour palette. I really like the colour palette in here. I loved the illustrations. I wasn't overly wowed with the story, but then again, I'm not a child, and it was, probably children will love it. I gave it 3 stars, and yeah, lovely storybook, lovely illustrations. I only had 1. It would have been, I felt like it'd be cheating to do more than 1. If you're doing a book a day and just have these that you can read in half an hour, that won't quite cut the mustard, would it? Okay, so that's those 2. Now let me have a quick look at my notes, and let's see where we are. Book a date in May. Okay, so The Children That Lived in the Barn and The Cafe at the Edge of the Woods. And then there were two that I read by Liv Constantine. Now, Liv Constantine, I'm going to open my phone off camera. I caused David a load of problems last week because I opened it and nobody could see the code. So it caused him a load of problems. Getting rid of it. I want to go to my Goodreads. And we'll just look at books read. Let's put this back in so it's something nice to look at. Read books, okay. So there were two, which were like novellas by Liv Constantine, and they are a sister duo. Liv Constantine are two sisters, and I've read a few of their long, full length, should I say, novels. So the first one is called The Replacement. David will put the picture up here, and I gave this 3.5. I put a nice short story, but I prefer the full-size novels from this author, which I think is fair. A Hollywood icon is struggling to revive her career, befriends a gifted newcomer with a secret agenda in a twisty short story about the true price of fame by New York Times bestselling author. Once Hollywood royalty Veronica Van Arden has been upstaged by box office flops and tabloid gossips, but when she lands a role in a promising film, a comeback finally seems possible. Yes, but all isn't as it seems. So that is The Replacement, 3.5 I gave that. And then the other one by them is Everywhere You Look. And apparently this is from the Never Tell collection. This is book one in the Never Tell collection. I might have a look at the others because I gave this 4 stars. This was a bit more meaty, a bit more to it. It says, all it takes is one shocking revelation on a New York street for a woman to unlock the secrets and lies of her past in a twisty short story by the best-selling author of The Last Mrs. Parrish. Yes, that's one that I have read. It's really good. The Last Mrs. Parrish. If you haven't read that, go and look that up. It has been 10 years since Jade lost her father in a tragic accident, and the lingering guilt and grief had dragged her down to rock bottom. Then one night she's out at a restaurant and sees the impossible through the window. Her father alive. Jade isn't going to lose him again, no matter what sinister truths may come from following him. As I say, out of the two, that was my favourite. I gave it 4 stars. It was excellently written. They are by them. And it packed a punch. Well worth the 4 stars. Okay then, so I think all I've got left is some children's reads from a book a date in May. So I will cover those next week. Because, you know, you'll agree 35's a lot to go through in one foul swoop. So hope there's 1 or 2 there that you want to go and check out. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Thank you to all my lovely faithfuls. I really appreciate you turning up every video and commenting and everything else. Thank you so much. Take care out there. Have a lovely weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.